My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my ranking of the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise from worst to best. And this video will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I am not a fan of this franchise. There's two decent movies here, but at the end of the day, it is one of the more forgettable slasher franchises. So let's begin by talking about the worst one, and it's I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, there's a couple scenes where you can get some so bad it's good type of enjoyment from it, but the rest of the movie is so generic and so bland and so ineffective that the movie is borderline unwatchable. A truly awful movie in every way, terribly directed, terribly acted, never scary or tense. It's just abysmal. The second worst movie of this franchise is the 2025 I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, I was really hoping for some trashy fun here, but it's actually a really boring movie. Like, it's almost 2 hours long, and it's a difficult watch. Like, it is so bland and generic, and the kills suck. There's not a single memorable moment, and it just lacked any bit of creativity or personality. I also thought the movie just felt incredibly rushed at the same time. Like, the big accident happens, and it's kind of like this, and then it's done, and then we skip ahead, and it just felt so scattered brain. It felt like a forced draft of a movie where there's some decent ideas present, but none of them are truly fleshed out. And the best example of that is how it tries to look at nostalgia with trauma and how it's best to just move on. But it's not done well. No, and okay, let's talk about the big reveal. Sarah Pigeon's character is first revealed to be the killer, and I was kind of okay with that because I really liked Sarah Pigeon's performance in that moment. It was difficult to talk about her in my non-spoiler review, but she is so crazy and so like over the top in the way that she talks like this. It's just really entertaining. That is when the movie came alive. But then she's defeated like this, and I was just like, that was quick. So I quickly checked my phone to see how much time was left, and no, they're not going to do this, are they? And I had a feeling because people kept saying that this movie did what Scream would never do. And I was just thinking, is it Jennifer Love Hewitt the entire time? But nope, it's Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character who is the main villain. And I don't like this, actually. The more I sit with it, the less I like it. Because even when I try to remember the first two movies, it just seems so wildly out of character. And this movie just treats it like a generic tryst without giving it any of the depths that it deserved. I feel like the movie had its heart in the right place for that decision, but no. And it doesn't help that Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt feel so fucking tacked onto this movie. Like, they're sleepwalking throughout the entire thing. And anytime they show up, it feels so fan servicey. And I just don't get nostalgia seeing these characters. Like, this isn't a franchise where I'm like, oh, I get to see them again. No. But I do like the moment where Jennifer Love Hewitt is just like, what are you waiting for? Okay, fan servicey, yes, but that was well done. And I didn't mind Chase Sui Wonders, but I thought it was really weird how we catch up with these characters and she is making out hardcore with a girl and she says things here. And I thought it could have been an interesting exploration of how trauma can affect people in different ways, but then it kind of feels like it gets dropped until she starts making out with this one guy, and then I don't know. The movie's a mess. I also didn't like how Madeline Klein's character. She was engaged to Teddy, but then in a year she left him and got engaged to someone else, and then he dies, and she goes back to Teddy the next day. No, thank you. I don't like that. And the guys were really generic. I hated the last scene where the girls are just making jokes. I really hated some of the way the characters talked here. Like, I felt like it was very poor therapy, and I hated the mid-credit scene. So, honestly, yeah, I truly hated this movie. 2 thumbs down. But the second best one is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And I wish I had more to say about this movie, but it is pretty forgettable. Like, it is a generic slasher movie, but it's one where you're entertained while you're watching it. It is fine. It is serviceable. It is mildly entertaining, but that's it. I do like the change in location, but it's just not a great franchise. It's not a great franchise, and I didn't like the mythology introduced here about the fishermen. So, But the best one is the original 1997 I Know What You Did Last Summer. And yeah, it's a generic slasher movie. You can tell they wanted to make the next Scream, and they definitely did. But the cast brings some enjoyment to the movie. I do like the inciting incident, and I do like the plot. But it just drags for so much of its runtime. But what really saves it is the last act. That is when the movie kicks it into gear and becomes really entertaining and becomes tense and exciting. And the last act is why this movie is the best. These aren't glowing reviews. This isn't a franchise that needs to keep going. Just, yeah. So, anyways, that's my ranking. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.